Hey everyone, welcome back to the Raw Deal, Radical Action Towards Wellness. And I hope you're having a great night. I'm getting closer to starting at my 6:30 time. It's funny how things just happen, right? And having a puppy's kind of like having a baby. It is, a puppy's a baby dog, right? But with the things that come up like just in a second, like, oh my gosh, he just did this. And so I get a little caught up sometimes, and I apologize if anybody was here and missed me because I wasn't on time at the 6:30 I said I promised to start at. But here I am, and again, this is the Raw Deal. My name is Jill Sebans, Radical Action Towards Wellness. I'm a radical wellness coach, and I am here sharing 32 days of health and wellness, emotional eating, mindful eating, gut health, all sorts of like radical wellness tips and insights to help you be the healthiest you can be in every way. So last night I was talking about the radical rules of self-care. And I kind of shared with you, well, we basically just started with talking about autumn. So have you had a chance to think about how you would like to spend your fall as it approaches? That's what we were kind of discussing last night. Remember last night I spoke about anxiety August or the September blues. It's what we start to feel as summer starts almost coming to a screeching halt, and we realize that around the corner are all these deadlines from now till December with the holidays and kids going to school, and I don't know what it is, but September, you can just see people already starting to shift. So, but I did say it is our choice on how we want to experience the season of autumn, and for that matter, every season of our life. And actually autumn is a beautiful season, especially for all of us who get to live in areas where the color changes, and we get to experience this also amazing weather, not quite like the humidity of summer, but just different. A lot of people enjoy the autumn weather anyway. So with that, though, we get caught up in what lies ahead, right? We all tend to kind of shift out of the moment and start looking at the business that lies ahead. And this can actually take over the joy of being in the moment. It does. It can't kind of. It does. When we're thinking about the future too much, I mean, planning and goal setting is great, but if we're caught up in just the busyness, we're losing the joy of the moment. So I asked you some questions last night. Do you have something that you want to change? Whether, I don't care what it is, if it's about your health, if it's about your work, your job, your schedule, any relationships in your life, is there something that you want to change? How do you want to take care of yourself this autumn? Do you want to shift into another level of greater health? Do you want to learn a new skill? What is it that you want to do? Is there one thing that would be most helpful for you to focus on? And I work with a lot of people, and I was really got a lot of this training, and currently I'm still with my business and mindset coach, Jessica Perez Beebe. She has us create our SMV, our statement, mission, and vision. And it's so amazing how keeping that as our focus, how everything else can just keep falling in place. So I've incorporated this into my own coaching because it's been so powerful. But for now, let's dig a little bit deeper into the radical rules of self-care to help you as you think through what you need to do for you. So tonight I want to share the first rule, and that's hear no evil. Every day we have millions pieces of data coming at us at any given time. You know what? We each have the ability to sift through that. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to limit the amount of negative information that you are basically exposed to every day. Sometimes this can't be helped, right? I mean, you have at work, you could have unhappy coworkers who vent. You could have a perfectionist boss who's always wanting more from you. You could have neighbors that are angry or just obnoxious to have as neighbors. A family member who drinks too much. A teacher who doesn't really want to teach. The list is endless, and I haven't even tapped into mentioning the evening news, social media, the wars, the politics of hate, social media alone, because here we are, even on Facebook. You guys open your Facebook page, and there's so much meanness and digs even happening in that. We really have to work on filtering all that through. So, since it's impossible for us to escape or ignore, as enticing as that may sound, right? Just to shut it all off. Actually, you could do like a fast from it for a while, but it's impossible to shut it all off and leave it off. It is possible, though, to filter out negativity. You can do this by increasing your awareness and being more conscious and choosier about what you allow in your internal world. So what are you going to listen to? What are you going to feed off of? So I'm an emotional eating coach. So if you struggle with emotional eating, this is vital. It's vital to be able to sift through this. And often the nurturing, soothing you crave from food helps you shift through the feelings of relieving the negative thoughts that keep going over and over in your mind. There's a different way to stop this process and develop skills to keep it in check. So it doesn't have to be emotional eating, eating too much, binge eating, any of those things, mindless eating. So here are 3 things you can do right now to stop listening, to hear no evil. Make a commitment to not participate in negative conversations. Sometimes what's not spoken, or commented on speaks more than if you said anything, right? Remaining neutral is often a good place to be. You don't always have to take a side or have a position on anything. So being quiet and just listening. 2, the ongoing conversation with yourself is usually the toughest for most people, right? I mean, it's that voice that we're always hearing. And if we've already had challenges of self-worth or negativity, negative talk going in our heads, we all know that it's the hardest voice to shut off. Most people say, I'm my worst critic, right? Because we can beat ourselves up more so than anybody else can. When something difficult comes through, what you can do is acknowledge it and then practice letting it flow right through you without getting stuck. In my leadership training, we called that getting caught in the drift. And we all can get caught in that drift. Sometimes that drift can actually feel like a riptide. I mean, we get so caught up in it. It almost feels like it's impossible to be brought back in. But we do have control. We do have a choice. So it's our choice in our conversations as we practice more positivity, and our actions of positivity will shift and we'll stay out of the drift. So we like to call it just doing a shift. So as soon as that negative thought or conversation, something starts happening, acknowledge it and shift out of it. It's as easy as that. I remember having one of my coaching sessions, and I was running late, and I actually had to pull over and stop at a gas station to get on my coaching call with my coach. And I just said, I was saying what we all say, I just feel a little overwhelmed. And she said, and I had a lot of training on this already. And she said, well, Jill, that is a choice. And for some reason, in that moment, it stuck. And I have to tell you that I rarely go into overwhelm. I definitely have the awareness, or I can shift out of it a lot quicker than I ever was able to before. And the first thing that comes to my mind that I say is, it's my choice. Do I want to feel like this? Or do I want to feel positive and enjoy what I'm doing in the moment? And you guys, really, it's as easy as that. So number 3, change the subject if you're talking to someone else. It's really easy to get on the critical bandwagon and start beating the drum too, right? I mean, we've all done it. So it's actually nicer to just walk alongside the bandwagon. Don't get on it. Let the other person vent. Know that their feelings need to be expressed, and it's their way to manage their stuff. You don't have to take on their struggle. You don't have to get caught up in it. So you might want to gently change the subject, or sometimes you have to directly state, listen, I really don't want to talk about this. It's not your place or concern, especially when we get into things like gossip and things that really aren't supporting or being kind. So being kind to the other person as well as yourself means that you're not engaging in unproductive conversations that will actually get you stuck. So even though the other person might have started the conversation, we had no intention of being negative, if we participate almost on any level, it can get us stuck too. So why even go there? We can acknowledge it and use the suggestions I made to just kind of shift out of it. So that was the first rule of the radical rules of self-care. Let me know what you think of it and how you can see how using this rule will bring the change that you want to be this autumn and for the rest of your life, you guys. So I'll look forward to catching you tomorrow. Please leave comments again on how you felt about the first radical rule of self-care. And I'll look forward to sharing you tomorrow's radical rule. Can you guess what it's going to be? Actually, if you listen to last night's call, you'll know what it is. Okay, you guys, have an awesome night. I will see you soon. Robin, I don't know if you're still there, but thanks for joining. And oh, the sun's in my eyes. Sorry, I hope you guys can see me. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, not the best lighting. You guys have a good night. Take care. Thanks, Robin. Love you. You were great tonight. I did watch your live too. It was awesome.